This is Southern Cross News with Joe Palmer.
Good evening, everyone. Emergency crews are on the scene of a log truck rollover near New Norfolk tonight as they work to clean up a serious crash. A man in his 30s has been taken to hospital in a serious condition after his car crashed into the truck this afternoon.
Crash investigators pick through a messy scene. The Lyle Highway completely blocked in the wake of a crash between a truck and a car around 1 p.m.
It appears at this stage that the white sedan has crossed the double white lines and gone into the path of the log truck.
The crash sent the log truck out of control, with its trailers ending up sideways, spilling their load across the road. Police say it's lucky other vehicles weren't caught in the wreckage.
Fortunately, there were other cars coming the other direction, but they were far enough away that they weren't struck by the logs. It was very, very lucky. It could have been very serious.
But the driver of the car was taken to hospital with critical injuries.
At this stage, it's a bit early to say what actually caused it, but it would appear probably inattention has been one of the factors.
Police blocking the Lyle Highway between Granton and New Norfolk as they worked on the investigation this afternoon and the big clean-up. Michael Breen, Southern Cross News.
The wash-up from the election is sinking in for Tasmania's political parties, with the Greens reflecting on its worst results in decades. The party was reduced to just 10% of the vote, with support for the two major parties, one of the highest since the state Greens were established.
Not quite a democracy sausage for the party claiming this election democracy was lost. A Greens party shattered as it picks up the pieces of one of the worst results since the party first established.
There are people who were so desperate to see poker machines removed from pubs and clubs, they switched their votes to Labor. I understand that.
Dropping to just 10% support, the Greens could be reduced to just one member of Parliament, battling the major parties for the final seats in Franklin and Bass.
We'll be back in there when Parliament returns and we'll be holding them to account. We'll be moving no confidence in the Liberals because we believe that they allowed this election to be corrupted.
The voters never get it wrong. All these claims that they were swayed by advertising and big spending campaigns, they never get it wrong. They never have once and they never will.
The Greens will now review exactly what went wrong. Cassie O'Connor says she'll spill the leadership but has the backing of the party stalwart.
Against that tide of secret money pouring into the state to buy policy and ensure it stays in place for the Hodgman government is very tough to withstand.
If you cannot renew one generation to the next, you're in trouble. And there's where the Greens are now. Are they going to effect a generational change from the hydro and the forest to whatever the new message is going to be?
Despite Labor taking some of the Greens' vote, the party has so far only claimed 9 seats, with another likely in Bass. Analysts describing the campaign as lacklustre, not capitalising on government failings.
Medical care, health, etc., and childcare. And those were two issues that worked well for Labor, but somehow they didn't come back to those and sell those messages in a convincing way.
With the returning postal votes typically favouring high-profile candidates, the predicted outcome could change again, possibly keeping the two Greens MPs in their respective seats and reducing the Labor Party to 9.
From 5 incumbents to hopefully what is 10 seats, that's a remarkable achievement, and Rebecca's, a credit to Rebecca's leadership. She has 100% support.
Support so strong the party won't be holding a ballot for the leadership. Jacqueline Robson, Southern Cross News.
Investigations continue into a deliberately lit fire at Zen last week. The blaze erupted late last Tuesday night, destroying West Coast Realty, the Zen Rock Shop and the town's pharmacy. The chemist has now reopened in another building across from the ruins. Anyone with information about the fire is urged to contact Crime Stoppers. A woman has had a lucky escape after her car veered off a busy road and into a property in Newstead this afternoon. The car smashed its way through a brick wall and landed in the front garden of the Elfin Road property just after 3:30. Police say the woman was taken to the Launceston General Hospital in a stable condition. Tasmanian women are being encouraged to speak up about domestic violence ahead of International Women's Day. Former Australian tennis star Jelena Dokic flying into the state to tell her story at a women's lunch in Launceston.
In a room filled with women, Jelena Dokic took centre stage. The former tennis champion speaking about her professional career, her new book and the physical and emotional abuse she endured from her father.
Yes, there are tough issues, but I think we need to talk about them. That's why these kinds of events around International Women's Day are so important. I think about empowering women, inspiring them and motivating them.
Thursday's International Women's Day is about recognising women's achievements and encouraging ladies to be bold for change. And already women across the country are uniting.
We've got a sell-out audience of 350 ladies, all here to celebrate all important things about women.
How important is it that we have a Women's Day?
Absolutely. Women need to be recognised for all the wonderful things that we do.
Terribly important that women can have a voice. And I see that as vital, and it also is encouraging the young women of today.
Today's women's lunch is the first appearance Dokic has ever made in Launceston. She says she was abused by her father for 20 years, but has only recently had the courage to speak out. Now she wants other women in similar situations to do the same.
I knew that my story could help a lot of people, and that's what I say at the end of my book. If it helps one person, it's mission accomplished. So it's done so much more than that already.
And for those wanting to help a friend,
sometimes all you need is a kind word or one little thing that can change your day and that can change your whole, hopefully week and the year.
Monica Dadson at Southern Cross News.
A team of young sailors has had a journey of a lifetime travelling from Adelaide to Hobart on the Young Endeavour. After more than a week learning the ropes, the crew set sail today for a special trip on the Derwent.
Setting sail on the Derwent today, this is anything but a relaxing cruise for the crew of the Young Endeavour. Getting their hands dirty as they work the rigging on this 44-metre long ship. Among them is Eli from Launceston College.
I was undoing the sea gaskets so we could let the mainsail out.
And what's it like up there?
Pretty scary. I was pretty scared of heights at the start of the voyage, but now I'm pretty used to it, so.
They set off from Adelaide more than a week ago, sailing down the west coast of Tasmania. On board are 21 youth crew members who were hand-picked for this program.
And the aims of that package are to enhance the youth crew's leadership, teamwork, their communication skills and, as I said, their sense of community. So it's all about developing young Australians.
16-year-old Lana from Elizabeth College says it cemented her goal of a Navy career.
I've enjoyed it. I know everyone else here has really enjoyed it. You learn so much, and you learn not only everything about sailing, but you learn a lot about yourself as a person, as an individual. The things you would never expect you could do, you get up and do.
For the last day of their voyage today, the Young Endeavour crew are playing host to students from the Southern Support School, sharing this life-changing experience.
It's just been really lovely to engage with the crew members. They've been really welcoming and accepting. I love to communicate with the students and for them to be able to communicate with the others.
For the crew of the Young Endeavour, their voyage may be ending, but it's an experience they're unlikely to forget. Michael Breen, Southern Cross News.
Tasmanians are being urged to help empower the lives of sick children by digging deep to support a program which delivers laughter and joy across the state. The Clown Doctors relying on community funding with hopes this year's annual roadside collection can raise $100,000.
Spreading magic across every room they visit. These clown doctors bring smiles to around 15,000 sick Tasmanian children each year.
But it would have been very boring if they weren't here. Yeah, definitely. I don't think I've seen a smile until they showed up.
Today, the Humour Foundation launching its annual roadside collection appeal, so the program can keep running in hospitals across the state.
They're not doctors and they're not volunteers. They're highly skilled professionals who come in and work at the bedside of sick kids, and we don't get any other sort of funding other than what we fundraise to support the program.
Everybody should be donating on the side of the road this week.
And it's all to brighten the lives of those who need it most.
Changing the atmosphere in the room and brightening their day, just even if it's just a little bit.
When we leave, we can leave the room in a better place.
so that there is a little bit more fun, laughter, hope, joy.
School children joining in to kick off the launch with a song. Volunteers will be scattered around collection points in Launceston, Campbelltown and Glenorchy until Saturday. Rita Risk, Southern Cross News.
Now let's take a look at the day's business and finance with thanks to Tasplan, your local super fund. Australian shares have ended lower, with mining stocks in particular impacted by ongoing shockwaves from US President Donald Trump's surprise announcement last week that the US will impose tariffs on imported steel and aluminium. The ASX 200 index has dropped by 33.9 points. A short time ago, the Australian dollar was trading at 77.48 US cents and 62.88 euro cents.
Half centuries from Jake Doran and George Bailey have helped the Tigers along to a respectable start with the bat in their Sheffield Shield clash with South Australia. But some late afternoon wickets could come back to haunt them, with the Tigers sitting at 6 for 281 at stumps. Alex Doolan was the first to find the boundary before becoming the first sent packing. Bo Webster narrowly avoided the same fate as he set about continuing his solid form with the bat. Jordan Silk doing his bit for the home side's cause, only to be brought unstuck on the very next ball.
And that one is taken. Just thought for a chance that could have bounced before the man at second slip.
Webster threatened to add another domestic half-ton to his name as he and Jake Doran settled in.
That one really well driven by Jake Doran. Come back for two, the man is in pursuit. Might just reach the boundary, and it does. Very good shot from Jake Doran.
The partnership brought to an end with Webster just 8 runs shy of his 50.
Big edge and well taken by Alex Carey. That's the wicket that South Australia were probing for.
But Doran wouldn't be deterred.
Oh, but Jake Doran good enough to cut that away, and that does mean Jake Doran has got another first-class half-century.
His skipper refused to be outdone.
George Bailey looking to advance. That one potentially not timed as well as what he'd like, but that has gone all the way for 6 runs.
Doran's impressive innings ending on 74, with the Tigers still looking comfortable at 4 for 219. Finally tonight, it's become a sport where the women are matching it with, and in some cases, outdoing the men. And the Launceston Racecourse is getting set to play host to a Tasmanian first when some of the best in the business battle it out. It's no longer rare to see a female storming home on a winner. Tasmanian jockey Siggy Carr knows the feeling well.
GG's Black Flash, you bloody old marvel! GG's Black Flash wins the cup.
Compared to probably going back into the 1950s when the girls didn't really get a go, we're sort of looked upon as the others now, which is great, and this is all to recognise how far we've come.
Carr will join a class lineup of jockeys from around the country, making Tasmanian history on Wednesday night when the Launceston Racecourse hosts the inaugural Female Jockey Championship.
The other girls are coming over into a new space, onto a new track that some of them have never ridden on before. I know a lot of the horses that are around. I ride against them all the time, so I've probably got that little bit of that head start.
Launceston trainer Marion Dalco will have 4 horses racing throughout the night, and with a healthy prize purse, each state is set to be represented. She's confident Wednesday night's event, along with the inaugural Australian Female Drivers Championship to be held a week later, will further boost the profile of women's racing.
You know, it's very hard for the females to pick up the better rides. You know, they're on the second or third grade horses. You know, you don't see a female jockey partnering Winks.
And while things aren't quite equal just yet, it's hoped the 2 events prove a positive sign of things to come in the future.
What I see with women particularly is that they would like to be more involved in the sport, and an industry as a whole, and the racing industry is acknowledging the role that women play.
Good evening. Hobart 19 today, Launceston with 24, the state's high, and Burnie 22 today. Temperatures mostly below average and just a slight shower over the west and far south, otherwise fine. Wynyard and Friendly Beaches 22, Low Head 21, Campania, St Helens and Flinders Island 20, Strawn and Bushy Park 19, Grove 18 degrees. Low-level cloud is sitting over the Bight and the southern coastline of the nation. It's fairly clear up north, apart from that westerly flow that brought cover to Tasmania as well, with patches over central WA and more, of course, inland with that trough over Queensland. Closer in, low-level convective cloud today, more patchy over the central north. Tomorrow, the high-pressure system starts to dominate over our region. The monsoon trough remains active over the north of the country. Winds west to southwesterly up to 15 knots, tending southeasterly over the northwest, swells to 2 metres. So for Tuesday, a mostly sunny 22 for Hobart, partly cloudy for Adventure Bay, Tarraleah sunny and 21. Launceston mostly sunny as well, warming up to 25 degrees, 21 for Devonport, OK for Bridport and 22 degrees. Burnie mostly sunny tomorrow, 22 the maximum, 20 for Strawn. Marrawar a sunny day and 21 the top. And for St Helens, 22 degrees, 21 for Swansea, Whitemark 22, all with fine weather, a little bit of cloud about. 8 is the UV, and that's right across the state for tomorrow. On Wednesday, fine and mostly sunny with light winds and afternoon sea breezes, mainly fine again on Thursday but partly cloudy, and that fine weather continues into Friday. Sunny conditions for Perth, Adelaide and Melbourne, partly cloudy for Canberra, a few showers for Sydney with 25 degrees and rain over Brisbane again. It's partly cloudy at the moment, 17 degrees in Hobart, Launceston 21 at the moment and Devonport currently 21 degrees as well. The plan, Joe, is to keep this fine weather rolling all through the week. The long-range forecast for the long weekend is a change is coming through for Saturday or Sunday, but hopefully not too much rain because I've got plenty of things to do.
So you keep telling me. Thank you very much for that, Merv. Have a great evening. That's all from the team for now. We will see you with updates throughout the evening. Good night.